Welcome back to the Team to Be Miami Heat podcast, your one-stop shop for daily Miami Heat content. My name is Amir. So last night, Bam Adebayo scored 83 points. We all know that. That was an insane, historic performance, an unexpected performance by Bam Adebayo. He shocked the entire NBA world, and lots of folks are talking about it, and a lot of folks seem to be upset. There's a mix of emotions when it comes to that performance yesterday. A lot of Laker fans obviously are upset that Bam scored 83 and beat Kobe Bryant for the second most points in an NBA game, only behind Wilt Chamberlain's 100 points, which was not televised. I'm not a conspiracy theorist and say I'm not going to say that that didn't happen because it wasn't televised, but that was 1962. So obviously, I believe Wilt scored 100, but Bam Adebayo, that was the most points televised in the modern era from any player, and no one expected Bam to do that. No one expected on a Tuesday night in Miami against a tanking Washington Wizards team who are obviously a horrible franchise. No one expected Bam to score 31 points in that first quarter, which was the most in a quarter for a Miami Heat player. The most points scored in a quarter by a Miami Heat player, it happened twice. That was LeBron James, 25 points back in like 2012, I believe, or 2013, whatever year it was. And the most points by a Miami Heat player wasn't Dwayne Wade. It was LeBron James. He also had 61 points in a game. Dwayne Wade had 55 points as his career high with the Miami Heat. Bam Adebayo blew them both out of the water. And yes, I understand the controversy to a certain degree. Kashad Johnson missed the layup on purpose when they were up by 26 with like a minute and a half left, trying to get an offensive rebound, another possession, another opportunity for Bam. I didn't love that either. The Miami Heat were fouling the Wizards as well to get more possessions, more opportunity. But the Wizards were also triple teaming Bam in that entire fourth quarter, basically. They were also fouling him a million times. So people are talking crap about the 43. Was it 43? Yes, 36 for 43 from the line. They were hacking him every single time he was driving to the hoop and getting double teamed, and just they were hacking him. Like there's video evidence and proof of that. And it's not his fault that they were fouling the shit out of him the entire game. He got to the free throw line. He made 36 of those from the free throw line, which was insane. He's not a elite three-point shooter like a lot of the other guys, or a offensive savant like most of the guys that had those other previous records, like Luka Doncic, who scored like 73. Luka was super efficient. He's a three-point shooter. He only got to the free throw line like 18 times. Still, he can shoot the three ball. He's more of a dynamic scorer. Joel Embiid is a big, so it's not all guards. He had like 71 points in three quarters. But Joel Embiid is a superior scorer than Bam Adebayo. Bam has never come close to averaging 30 points per game or being an MVP. You have Kobe Bryant, one of the best players of all time. You have Devin Booker, he's not one of the best shooting guards of all time, but he's one of the best shooting guards now in his career, and obviously a three-level scorer and a shooter. So obviously a lot of those guys who did score 70 points were Dame Lillard, of course, was another one, were guards who could shoot outside of obviously Will being probably the most or second most dominant player in the entire league, and Joel Embiid being a multi-MVP type of player. So another issue too, the Wizards were complaining about Bam, how the fourth quarter became some sort of circus. Their team is a circus. Their team is a joke. They're tanking. They're losing on purpose. They don't care. AD is not playing and probably won't play this year. Trae Young, has he even played yet for the Wizards? Those guys are out. They're sitting every single player out so they could lose on purpose to get more lottery balls. So if you're going to tank, then Bam Adebayo and the Miami Heat are going to go for a record. They're going to go for a record. I'm okay with Spo going for the record, letting him play the entire second half. You never expected Bam Adebayo, who came in so raw because of backup to Hassan Whiteside, to ever have an opportunity to score 60 points, 70 points, 83 freaking points for Bam Adebayo. So I think it's just kind of comical at this point, but he's getting badmouthed from a whole bunch of critics, NBA players, former NBA players, coaches, journalists, analysts. So I do want to talk about that, which I think is kind of funny that Bam is getting critiqued while this should be something that they universally praise. Yes, I understand there were some shenanigans, but still, it's still insanely hard. And I think Jeff Teague or someone said, I don't care if you scored 83 points in a pickup game at LA Fitness, at a rec center. Doing that is so freaking hard. And other players praised him. So I'm not going to get too much into the praise because I just want to talk about how ridiculous it is. And of course, I'm biased. I'm a Miami Heat fan. But Giannis said, it doesn't matter if you got to the free throw line 10, 20, 30 times. No one cares about the metrics or the efficiency and all that stuff. All that matters is he did something insane, something incredible, and made a new record, getting the second most points in a regular season game ever. Kevin Durant praised Bam Adebayo, saying, that was impressive. That was insanely impressive what he did. Luka Doncic praised him. Donovan Mitchell, De'Aaron Fox, like a lot of stars. LeBron James, like all these guys came out and said this was incredible. But there are obviously going to always be haters in this world. And yeah, let's talk about it. So I don't think I've shared on the podcast yet, but I've been writing for Sports Illustrated on SI for the past few weeks now. I'm covering the Miami Heat, the Bucks, the Pacers, the Grizzlies, and the Magic. And so I've been writing some articles, and I wrote an article on this. Let's see, about the hate that Bam has been receiving so far because of his 83-point historic game last night, which I think is kind of funny. So former players are coming out in this rare moment. Robert Ory, who is I believe, 6-time NBA champion, he said there deserves to be an asterisk. Like he said, 43 shots, 43 free throws, 83 points is impressive, but it gets to the point you have to respect the game. There were moments in this game it wasn't respected. It'll go down as the second most points in history, obviously. But he said he's putting an asterisk by this one. So, yeah, I get it. I do understand where he's coming from, but still, you got to give him work. You got to give credit where credit is due. So, not only did Robert Ory, a former NBA player and champion, came out saying that he thinks this was just not the best, but Charlie Villanueva, another former NBA player, um, basically said that Kobe's 81-point game isn't Bam's 83. There's a difference. Yes, 83 is 83. That's effing hard to do, regardless what level you're playing. Now, here's the difference. When we played Kobe, Toronto played the Lakers, it was a close game the whole way. They needed Kobe to score 81 points. In Bam's case, they were up 30-25. They weren't up 30. They were fouling so you could get there to beat the record. It's not the same. To me, that 83 is an asterisk, bro. I think that's just obviously ridiculous as well. Let's see. Kelly Oubre. So some current players also said a few comments. For one, I'm going to say it's definitely a legendary, the box score, right? The number. Oubre said Tuesday night after beating the Grizzlies, shout out to Bam. He's just implementing himself in history, and I'm kind of salty that he bested Kobe. He's one of my favorite players for sure. I'm just going to say this, man. Joel did it efficiently, and he did it in 3. Then we have Colin Gillespie, young dude from the Suns, basically says, I don't really care. Just like I don't really care about his opinion either. So I just think it's funny that people are complaining. And again, there's more people complaining. So I wrote another article. You guys can all check these out. I'll link them in the description. But it wasn't just players. There was guys from ESPN. Basically, Dave McManaman basically said it's a major accomplishment. The fact that it happened against the team not trying to win, and was aided by his team intentionally fouling when they were already up 20 will factor how it will be remembered. Tim McMahon also commented, he's jacking threes up while triple teamed. It was honestly just awful, hideous, disgusting basketball down the stretch. I never, ever, ever, ever want to hear about Heat culture, professionalism, and all that crap again, because that was the most blatant stat chasing. He has a point, but we're not going to dismiss all of the Miami Heat's 40 years of culture. That's ridiculous. The Athletics' Sam Amick basically said, judging by the reaction of some of the people from Bryant's past whom I was in touch with after Adebayo's outing, this sentiment wasn't unique. They should have pulled him out basically when he had 81 points, is what he said. And then Wizards head coach said in the fourth quarter it turned into not a real basketball game. That's because you're not a real coach. You're not a real organization. You guys are tanking, so who cares what you think? And then Ime Udoka also said, I saw he only made 6 threes, but 40 free throws or something like that. That tells the story right there. And it's the Washington Wizards. So lots of hate. I don't fully understand it, but again, I'm biased. I just think it's funny. But we got to appreciate what Bam did, which was insane. He scored 83 points, something I never would have imagined he was capable of doing.